looks like a top and a counterbalance in play. I also see a counterspell looks like it's on the stack here for Joe, so we'll take a look at the deck list here. See what they have put together. Wouldn't be surprised if Karabell is actually using some of Joe's technology, as Joe has played Esper Stoneblade for some time.
Well, after Gerard won the Standard Open in Providence with his Ashiok deck, he was building his Esper deck for the Legacy Open. Jokingly said to me, I'm going to play an Ashiok because it's so good, probably going to just cut this Jace the Mind Sculptor. Al has taken that advice to heart. He's playing 3 Jaces, 1 Sorin Lord of Innistrad, and 1 Ashiok Knight, where we were alongside 4 Stoneforges, a Click, and 3 Snapcasters in the main deck.
Oh, I love it. Ashiok is sweet. Gerard, eat your heart out. Bernal's going to spin a top. So he's got a Council's Judgment in his hand, draws a copy of Vendilion Click. He'll pass the turn back.
Lingering Souls also present in Al's list, taking a page out of the Shaheen Sarani playbook, who's a big advocate of Lingering Souls.
Yes, he is. Vendilion Click going to take a look at Jace and a Tundra. Jace going to go to the bottom. Al going to draw a card. We have just been informed that Joe's Jaces, well, those have been surgically extracted. That's going to make winning a little bit more difficult here for Mr. Bernal.
So let's review the tape here. He has 2 copies of Entreat the Angels in his deck, and these 3 Vendilion Clicks. That's how you can win the game.
He's got to earn it.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy. No.
Jace is easy mode.
It really
Joe's
is.
plays in hard mode now.
For Karabell, one thing to note, the lands that he has, one that we haven't seen in a very long time, I don't even say in Legacy, just overall, there's a Moorland Haunt in play.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought that was a Moorland Haunt, but I caught myself and said, there's just no way that's a Moorland Haunt.
Oh, yeah. And this thing used to dominate Standard a little bit in the Blue-White Delver deck. Many a game was lost to Moorland Haunt just removing cards, sometimes holding a Runechanter's Pike, sometimes not. It was quite good. Here comes the Vendilion Click. Karabell's down to 12. You see Bernal at 15.
Sometimes you see Esper Stoneblade list with some bizarre utility lands. You see a Dust Bowl every now and again, you know?
Joe's been known to play a Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Along with Back to Basics.
Get him.
I know you love that. Yeah. Patrick and his strip mines and sinkholes.
Yep.
The fun police. Here's a Stoneforge Mystic. Joe gonna spin the top. See if he's got 2 on top. Looks like he does. So counterbalance trigger. No sir. Get that thing out of here.
No big deal. Just some Moorland Haunt food.
Absolutely. Spirit token in for 1.
This is actually a huge deal. It's going to be really hard for Al to win. But
For Al or Joe?
I think this is going to be a struggle for Al.
Seems like it's a tough game for Joe. He's got no Jaces. He's got to try to win with like creatures. And I mean, Vendilion Click against Moorland Haunt doesn't really line up all that well. Let's see what happens. I mean, I think right now, I mean, Joe's obviously in a pretty good position.
It depends if Joe still has Entreat in his deck.
Sure.
If he has Entreat, I think it's not that challenging.
If he's aggressively sorting spirit tokens, that's telling. Got spin top.
See another Plow? This is easy.
Easy breezy, beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, Al's got nothing going on here, you know?
Just a boring old spirit token. See what he's gonna do here. I think he's just gonna draw, okay. There's a sword.
So this is the game plan. Just try to attrition out all of Joe's removal.
I mean, that's definitely a plan. Joe's got swords on top, so that's in. Here's an equip, response, peel, swords it. Presumably that's your turn.
So if you had to worry this much about every creature that comes into play on Al's side, not only because it's a creature, but also because it's a Moorland Haunt food on the way back.
Yeah.
This is definitely hard mode. I take back what I said before.
Yeah, that's what I don't love about it. Yeah, it's super tough if he's aggressively sorting spirit tokens. It seems as though he's worried about some things.
He's got him on a 4-turn clock right now.
Yeah. It's gripping that Council's Judgment tightly.
That's his out to a sword or a token as appropriate.
Yep. think Joe might be considering casting the Council of Judgment right now. Yeah. And for Al, I'm not entirely sure if that top is in play for him or not. The sword is obviously in play. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Okay. Because he casts that, and if Al wants to save his top, he has to draw a card.
Right.
But if he says, okay, Council's Judgment resolves, Joe's like, okay, I will take care of your top because that's in play, and you can't activate top once Council's Judgment is resolving. Okay, that's a batter skull. Joe is going to spin his top and hope to find a 5. Council's Judgment would have been really good against that.
This
2,
is true.
3, Vendilion Click. Joe's face lights up a little bit. I think he knows he's in a little bit of trouble now, though a fetch land does give him a reshuffle.
But yeah, this top 3 is no help. And Joe, you know, trying to damage race this match at this point, 1 hit from a batter skull, it's all undone.
Yeah, it's all reversed.
And then the fact that he's without his Jaces, he has to win via damage, either through Vendilion Click, maybe Entreat if that's still in his deck. That's going to be much more challenging.
Joe will untap and draw a card here, picks up the fetch land. He's going to spin 1. See what the 3rd card is. Brainstorm. I think I'd rather crack and get a better look.
Yeah, the Brainstorm doesn't really change anything unless Joe is willing to shuffle away his Divining Top.
Yeah.
And there's just no way that that's happening.
He's going to sacrifice the Air Mace, go get Plains. He's at 13 now. You see the life total is 13 to 8 in favor of Bernal. He's got to find an answer to Batter Skull now, though. It's funny, he's put people in this spot a lot during his time playing Legacy here on the Open Series.
Yep.
Quick update for you guys. In our 2 versus 7, Canalican, Andrew, of course, does defeat Dylan Jones 2-0. Death and Taxes moving on over Sneak and Show. Not too much of a surprise there. See a Brainstorm, an Island, and didn't get a great look at the 3rd card. Joe gonna activate Sensei's Divining Top, draw and cast Brainstorm. So hit 1, 2, and 3. Top Island is what he's gonna look at. 2 cards you can go back. This is a very mana-intensive way to see a new card.
Yeah, he gets to put these back, recast the top, and then there's 1 fresh one in this look. Joe trying to find it, furiously digging for an answer here. And it can't be correct this turn to block and bounce because he's already played a land. He played a Narid Mesa, so. But even in this spot, you know, even if Joe finds, say, Swords to Plowshares, there's still this long-term issue of what the plan is.
And there's a Brainstorm as the new card.
Redraws into redraws.
Yeah. Top spins and all that jazz. Looks like Joe may have mistapped the mana a little bit. Maybe. What's this going to be? Activate top, draw a card.
Well, he had to decide what mana he was going to lock himself out of.
Sure.
I think he would rather give himself the opportunity to draw Swords to Plowshares than he would cast the Red Elemental Blast.
Joe going to cast a Brainstorm here. We just saw this a moment ago. He's going to do it again. Put 2 cards back. Already played a land for the turn. Now here's an attack for 3. Of course, he's going to have to discard a card, so you have to imagine it's going to be the Island.
Yep.
Assuming that Al does equip the sword and bash on in. Oddly enough for Joe, that was a turn of looking at a bunch of cards, but realistically, really not accomplishing a lot.
That is a spinning of the tires.
Yeah. Al's got a good feeling that he's going to get to hit with the sword this turn, which means he's going to get to use all his mana again. So for him, it might make a little bit more sense to play the Stoneforge Mystic pre-combat, so he gets to untap all the mana.
I think Snapcaster Mage also may be the other card in his hand, which is pretty juicy here.
There's Stoneforge. So we're going to look at the grip. He's going to go searching, see if he's got any other equipment to get here. I mean, there's always GT floating around the deck. But nope, nothing there.
Just a Squire. But it is something to move equipment onto efficiently in case something happens to this Germ token.
So here's the attack. It's going to be for 6. Joe, of course, with no blocks. So Al's going to do a lot of the work that Vendilion Clique has done over the past couple turns.
Yeah, every part of this matters so much. Joe taking 6, Al getting 6, the lands untapping.
Joe discarding too.
Yeah, getting hit from all angles here.
Now they're Snappy. See what Snappy searches up.
Wouldn't surprise me if this was Disenchant, because there was no 2 on the top of the deck last time, so this is a window for Al to break out a counterbalance.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to pass the turn back over to Bernal. Bernal's board has been devastated, and he's going to need something real nice to get back in this now. Going to start by playing a top. Now it's time to spin a top. So 1 and 2 and 3. And none of those cards are of much help. There's an island, another top, and a red elemental blast there.
Yeah, it's no help and no reshuffle.
Bernal knows he's in trouble now. All he can do is pass the turn back. So back to Karabell we go. It's a pretty quick draw, and looks like he's ready to get into the red zone right away.
I mean, Al splitting up his equipment here. This diversification works out a little bit better for Joe, as there's a red elemental blast, so he can now blow up the Snapcaster Mage and save himself a little bit of damage.
Yeah, actually works out okay.
I like splitting up the equipment. If red elemental blast is on your radar, the sword should probably go on the Stoneforge Mystic.
Also, if it goes in the Stoneforge Mystic, you can actually beat the Vendilion Clique in combat, because Joe could simply just say Vendilion Clique in front of Snapcaster Mage.
Correct.
Just make a trade there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to use the red blast there. The Vendilion Clique is going to block the Batter Skull, it looks like. He might have some interest in trading, I guess, but yeah. And the problem, and you know, we kind of mentioned this card before, the Moorland Haunt.
Yeah, trading's pretty bad for Joe here.
Yeah. Let's spin the top. I don't know, all those cards are pretty poor. Next card's going to be pretty good. So Bernal's going to untap those 6 lands. He'll draw a card. Spin the top again. Is there a Terminus floating around there? There's a Supreme Verdict.
Okay.
And
the Supreme Verdict is not a help because of Moorland Haunt.
Yeah, in most circumstances, Supreme Verdict is awesome. You would be thrilled if you were Bernal to find this Wrath effect.
I mean, this is pretty unbelievable. I've seen a Moorland Haunt and some lists here and there. I've never seen it play this large of a role in a match before.
It's just dialing back the clock to like 2012.
Yeah.
When Delver decks used to do this to people in Standard. You know, you kill their Delver, you kill their Geist, you do all that stuff, and they're just like, well, whatever.
And Joe understands. I mean, he knows that he's just losing to this straight up.
Yeah. Let's see what this is. It's a Pithing Needle. Well, that naming top is pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's going to pack it up and pack it in. That's going to do it. Al Karabell's going to win this match over Joe Bernal. 2-1 for Bernal. It's his 12th Open Series top 8, but he is still without a championship as he is dispatched in the quarterfinals. And for Karabell, with his innovative take on Esper Stoneblade, the #1 overall seed, going to the semis.
A lot of weirdos. A Sorin, an Ashiok, a Moorland Haunt. And that last card I mentioned there, that was the straw that broke the camel's back in those games.
Yeah. Congratulations again to Al Karabell, our #1 overall seed. I'm not entirely sure he's even lost a match yet this weekend. He's moving on. He's going to play against Steven Danik, who's playing, again, Elves. We watched him just a little bit ago. And for Elves, seems like a tough one.
Yeah, I think so too. Probably he's got a slightly better matchup here than he does against Miracles, but they're both going to be uphill battles.